Okay, today we are going to start a new photosynthetic example that is called as Euglena or Euglenoids. It is also a photosynthetic protista. So we have already discussed diatoms, we have already discussed dinoflagellates. So today we are going to discuss the last photosynthetic protista that is called as Euglenoids. Let's start. So these Euglenoids are group of chlorophyllous, means they contain chlorophyll. So they are chlorophyllous. And also they don't contain chlorophylls, chlorophyllous flagellated plant. Means these are the groups where we find chlorophyllous group present and non-chlorophyllous groups are present and they do contain flagella. So here it indicates that they behave as plant plus animal nature. So Euglena contains plant character as well as animal character both. And it is regarded as the largest genera. Euglena is regarded as the largest genera. Euglena is the largest genera among euglenoids. Now these euglenoids are normally unicellular, they are flagellated, and they are mostly present in the fresh water, that is stagnant fresh water or damp soil. So normally when we find euglena, they are flagellated, yes. They are unicellular, yes. And normally they are present in moisture-based soil, or it is found in stagnant water, that is mostly fresh water. So majority of them are freshwater. Yes, they are freshwater. And most of them are found to be present in stagnant water. And the body is spindle-shaped. Yes, the body is spindle-shaped like structure. The body is spindle-shaped with blunt anterior end and pointed posterior end. The posterior end is very pointed, but the anterior end is blunt. So in the anterior end, we'll find this type of animal-like nature, and the posterior end is pointed. Now this one is pointed. So this is the posterior part, this is pointed, and this are the anterior part, this is blunt. These are the blunt like appearance. Got it? So they have spindle shaped body. So both the end pointed and the middle part is wider. So this nature is called a spindle shaped with blunt anterior. So anterior end is little blunt, little wider, not so pointed, but the posterior end is pointed. Why it is not pointed? Because it is differentiated into animal like nature. You will find the animal character, the mouth present, the pharynx present, the reservoir present. We'll discuss later. Cell wall is totally absent. Yes, cell wall is absent. But the body is covered by a covering. The body is covered by a elastic protein covering. And this covering is called as pellicle. They don't have cell wall. Yes, they don't have cell wall. But the body is covered by a protective covering that is called as pellicle, which is protein in nature and highly elastic in nature. So periplast, this pellicle is otherwise called as periplast, which is protein in nature and they are highly elastic, as we have discussed now. Suppose this is the body. So outside the body we find a covering present. This is not cell wall. It is called as the pellicle. And this pellicle is protein in nature and highly protective and highly elastic in nature. Got it? Now let's move. The locomotor organs is flagella. Yes, they do contain flagella. So flagella is the main locomotor organs present. And the cell bears a long flagella, which is a long thin cell. And we do call it as trichodematic, arising at the anterior end, and a short flagella. For example, suppose this is the body of Euglena, for example. So it contains a long flagella, which is parallel with the body. And a short flagella is also present, which is inside the body, blunt end. So this is thin cell, means it is smooth. If any flagella that is smooth, they don't have hair in nature, they are called as thin cell. So it is a thin cell type flagellum present. Then we find actually there are two flagella, but one of these is highly reduced. For example, suppose this is the mouth part, so the anterior part. So one of the flagella, they moves out. But other flagella present, which is very short, they never comes out of the body. So two flagella present, one coming out of the body, one present within the body. Got it? So they are very reduced in nature. And the longer flagella has two branches. Yes, they have two branches. Longer flagella have two branches. So two branches with two basal bodies or basal granules, so blepharoplast. So the longer flagella contains two branches. And each branch has its own basal granules. Yes, as the flagella bifurcates, and this is the flagella so each flagella contains its own basal granules. These are the basal granules present, and these are the branches present of the flagella. So this particular flagella is flagella that do helps in its locomotion. Okay. For example, suppose this is Euglena present. Got it? And here we find that the flagella comes out. The meeting point of flagella, here the meeting point of flagella. So the union of two flagella is present. It parallel to it, we find a body present, and this body present at the meeting point is flagella is called as paraflagellar body. Paraflagellar body. Got it? So when the flagella meets the meeting point of flagella and just the body, so this in this nature we find a body present, and this particular body is called as paraflagellar body. So at the meeting point of the flagella we find a special photosensitive body present, and this photosensitive body is called as paraflagellar body. It's very important point. Now myonemes are present as oblique pellicle. For example, suppose this is the body present, and around body we find the pellicles are present. For example, this is the pellicles are present. Got it? And this is the inside. Suppose body is present. So body is covered by pellicle. Here what happens? In addition to pellicle, from this pellicle nature, from this pellicle to this pellicle, we find that oblique fibrous like structures are present, and these oblique fiber like structures are called as myonemes. So these are called as myonemes. Got it? So these are oblique, parallelly oblique arranged stripes are present, which are attached from one pellicle of other side to the other pellicle, and these oblique structure stripes present parallel to each other is called as myonemes. And Euglenoids forms creeping movement, means suppose this is a surface, so they move by creeping. They creeps and moves in the mode, and this type of movement is due to contraction and relaxation. So creeping movement is only possible by contracting and again relaxing, again contracting, again relaxing. So this type of movement is called as creeping movement, and this is the contraction and expansion of this particular organism. Let's discuss about the structure. For example, this is the upper part present, this is the upper part present, this is the upper part present, and here what we find it is the animal nature. This is the animal part, and the lower part is the plant part. The upper part is the animal part and the lower part is the plant part. In the upper part we find that this is the flagella present, and outside the body covering we find the pellicle is present here. We find oblique stripes are present, these are called as myonemes present. Inside we find the nucleus is present. Here we find the chloroplast are present, parapylon bodies are present, but here what happened, the anteromost end is called as the mouth. This particular gap is called as the gut, or the cytopharynx called as pharynx, and here the meeting point is called as paraflagellar body present at the meeting point, and next to the meeting point we find a eye spot is present, that is called as stigma. Stigma or eye spot is present. Got it? And here we find a swollen region present at the bottom region of this body, and this is called as the reservoir. This is the reservoir of the stomach, is called as the stomach of the body. And also above below this reservoir we find below that contractile vacuoles are present for osmoregulations. And in the down part we find the plant-like nature, because chloroplasts are present in the lower part. The upper part behaves animal-like nature and the lower part behaves plant-like nature. This is what the structure means. So this movement, the creeping movement, is sometimes called as metaboly movement or euglenoid movement. So this creeping movement, so this creeping type of movement is called as metaboly movement, or it is sometimes called as euglenoid movement. The apical end of the cell bears an invagination with three distinct parts. Yes, let's move what? Suppose this is the apical part present. So the apical end, when we move on to the apical end, we find three parts. Here is the mouth part present, here is the pharynx part present, and here is the reservoir present. So three distinct parts present like animal nature. The opening part is called as the mouth. Here is the mouth present, and this cavity, this canal is called as the pharynx. This canal is called as the pharynx, and here we find the reservoir present. The stomach-like activity is present, that is called as the reservoir. This is called as the reservoir present. So this particular part, the upper part of the body of the Euglena, they behaves as animal nature, and here also we find what? This flagella is present, and here we find paraflagella body, and the side of the paraflagella body we find a eye present or eye spot present, that is called a stigma. We find a stigma present parallel to the paraflagella body, and this is called as near to the reservoir membrane, and this is called as the stigma, is the eye spot. We'll discuss later. Okay, we find the reservoir helps in ingestion of solid food particles. Got it? So this particular part, the reservoir helps in ingestion. The food is engulfed, taken into this transport through, and here it is present and it moves down. Here we find contractile vacuoles, food vacuoles are present. So these food vacuoles will digest this particular food and then distribute throughout the cell. So this is how it is behaves as the animal nature, the upper part. Now stigma and eye spot is present, just how we discussed. Suppose this is the upper part present, suppose the upper part of the body present, and suppose this is the paraflagella body present. So here is the paraflagella body. Next to paraflagella body we find the eye spot present, and this is called as the stigma or the eye spot. It is photosensitive. It is very photosensitive. So they can feel light, they can sense the light because they are photosensitive in nature. Yes, it is present in paraflagella body, just behind the paraflagella body. Stigma along with seems to be light sensitive and it perception of light and stimulus light. This photosensitive to red orange light, and the contains a pigment that is called as astaxanthin. So astaxanthin is the pigment present in the eye spot, and this pigment is very sensitive to red and orange light. A red and orange wavelength of the light is sensitive only due to this particular pigment present in the eye spot, that is very highly photosensitive in nature. It also contains contractile vacuoles and it helps in osmoregulation. It has osmoregulation. And also it is present just below the reservoir, just we have discussed. Suppose this is the reservoir present, so below reservoir we find the contractile vacuoles present, because this is the reservoir and this is the contractile vacuoles. The contractile vacuoles helps in osmoregulation and excretion, that is to maintains chemical balance in the body. Single large nucleus lies at the center. We know very well. Suppose this is the blunt end. This is the blunt end as we have discussed. And this is the pointed end. Yes, as we have discussed. In this nature, here we find the nucleus present. So here we find the nucleus present. Because the upper part behaves as animal nature. The upper part is animal nature, whereas the lower part behaves as plant-like nature. This is the plant-like nature. And the nutrition is autotrophic because they contains chloroplast. Yes, they contains chloroplast. Here the chloroplast are present. So Euglena viridis is a photosynthetic. However, some are saprobiotic. Means they depends on dead and decay. But mostly they are photo. But some are saprobiotic. Means they depend on dead organic matter. So they get nourishment by secreting the digestive enzymes in the absence of light. So if light is absent, then they undergo animal behavior and they contain the digestive enzymes to digest the food materials. If light is present, then digestive enzyme is reduced and with help of light they prepare their own food. So they do have both plant plus animal nature. So Euglena have both plant nature and animal nature. So this dual mode of nutrition in Euglena is called as mixotrophic mode of nutrition. Yes, mixotrophic means dual nutrition, two types of nutrition. One is photosynthetic and another one is saprobiotic. Got it? So holozoic nutrition is absent. So direct engulfing, that as we ingest the food or as we intake the food, so we intake the food in holozoic form. So this type of nutrition is absent in this Euglena. Some, very few of them have holozoic. That is, the best example is called as Paranema. Paranema is one organism of Euglena where we find holozoic type of movement digestion present, where the food is engulfed, ingested. Most of them are, some of them are saprobiotic. That is Rhabdomonas. Rhabdomonas is the best example of saprobiotic in nature. So Rhabdomonas is saprobiotic. Photosynthetically, they hence due to the presence of chlorophyll A, so they prepare their own food. They do also contain chlorophyll B. So this two chlorophyll behaves as plant nature. So higher plants contains chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B to prepare their own food. Same thing, this Euglena contains chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B to prepare their own food. Yes. So this photosynthetic pigments also present, that is called xanthophyll, to provide body coloration. As in other photosynthetic protista, we have discussed xanthophyll, fucoxanthin, diatoxanthins, diadenoxanthins. Here also we find xanthophylls are found to be present to provide body colorations. They contains beta carotenes. But in dinoflagella we find alpha and beta carotenes are both present, but here only beta carotenes are present. In addition to other pigments, beta carotene is also present. This is a very important point. The reserve food materials is a type of polysaccharide that is called as paramylon. The reserve food material is paramylon. So the stored cytoplasm in the form of paramylon granules means inside the body the food materials are stored in the form of these granule-like forms, and these granular forms are called as paramylon forms. And these are the paramylons that helps in storing the food materials in the form of carbohydrate or starch. And they are chemically beta-1,3 glucans. Yes, glucans is polysaccharide. So normally paramylons are what? These are beta-1,3 glucans. Very important. So paramylons are beta-1,3 glucans. Now under favorable conditions, they divide by longitudinal binary fission. Very important question. So under favorable condition, they mainly reproduce by longitudinal binary fissions. Got it? Very, very important point. But under unfavorable conditions, they go for palmella stage or cyst formation. They undergo cyst or palmella stage like conditions, where they undergo perination. Means they, under unfavorable condition, they just becomes dormant to withstand this adverse condition. So when condition favors, then they again reproduce. Sexual reproduction is not present and not known at present. It's not found. And the best example Euglena is called is Euglena and Euglena. The Euglenoids and Euglenoids we find Paranema and Euglena are the best examples. Now let's move into different facts. Euglena is both producer and decomposer because they are photosynthetic and they are saprobiotic. So they are producer and decomposer both. It studies that they are plant as well as animals. Yes, we have discussed. So it is sometimes called as plant animal. It is sometimes called as plant animal. And also the plant characters are Euglena due to the presence of chloroplast and pigments. Why it is plant character? Because the presence of chloroplast and pigment, chlorophyll A, chlorophyll B, beta carotenes, xanthophylls are present. And plant characters of Euglena include holophytic nutrition, that is autotrophic mode of nutrition. But animal type, they don't have cell wall. They do have a protein covering that is called as pellicle. And they have eyes present, stigma, and a paraflagella body is present, which is animal character. And also the contains contractile vacuole for osmoregulation, and that is called as excretion. So which is an animal character in nature. And also animals are character, they go longitudinal binary fissions. They go longitudinally binary fissions. Now let's go for some practice questions. First example, Euglena is called a kinetic link between plants and animals. Yes, right. It posts chloroplast, photosynthesis, and absence of. Yes, both are right. Yes, this is the right answer and this is the right explanation. Now let's consider the following statement regarding Euglena. Let's see. It has protein-rich covering called pellicle. Yes. It possesses two unequal flagella. Yes. Its reserve food material is paramylon. Yes. The cell wall is made up of cellulose. They don't have cell wall. They don't have cell wall. Choose the correct option. 1, 2, and 3. Yes. 1, 2, or 3 are right, or others are wrong. Got it clear? Third question. The flexible movement of Euglena is mainly due to the presence of myonemes. Cell wall? No. Silica cell? No. Pellicle present? Yes. Pellicle contains myonemes. And due to the presence of pellicle and myonemes, the Euglenoid movement is only possible. Got it. Next questions. Which one of the following there is a food materials? That is paramylon, starch, glycogen, paramylon, laminarose. So it is not, it is not, it is not. So paramylon is the right answer. Why is Euglena considered as mixotrophic? Both type of nutrition is found to be present. It can perform photosynthesis, also heterotroph. So this one is right. It has both plant and animal cells. Okay, for nutrition question, mixotrophic nutrition, this one is the right answer. Alright. So only 5 questions we have discussed. You can go for 1000 plus questions in this particular site. You can give the online exam and practice your score at particular time, or you can go for the clearing classes here. If you want direct PDF or you want mind maps, worksheets, MCQ, direct MCQ PDFs, you can go to this particular site. Or if you have any doubt you want to clear it out personally, you can go through this number. Or if you have any, if you want to download ample amount of questions and PDF, then you can go for this particular channels. So this is all about of Euglena. That's the photosynthetic protista we have discussed. So we have completed photosynthetic protista. Last class we have discussed dinoflagellates, and before that we have already discussed diatoms. So we have completed photosynthetic protista. Okay, thank you. Hope you all enjoyed.